What up, what up? Here's Paul with Into the West Comics, and I'm going to come at you guys with some of the reviews for DC's Future State Comics today. Everyone's been really excited about this, looking forward to it since the Dark Knight's Death Metal's wrapped up. I am about halfway through all the Future State stuff. Today I'm going to talk about 5 comics. 3 of them kind of wrap up into one, but I'm going to start here with the Kara Zor-El Supergirl line. It's a comic written by, written by Marguerite Bennett and art by Marguerite Sauvage. Probably mispronouncing that, but here we are. It's about Kara Zor-El. She starts out, she's on the moon. She's talking about, she has this colony on the moon, which is about people who are, she's saved from the earth or outcast or whatever. We're not really clear. It's not made clear what exactly has happened. The writing is really strong. It starts out she's mourning the loss of Crypto the super dog, and she talks about why she's doing what she's doing, why she's on the moon, her vow of no violence, and before you know it, some other Superwoman-esque character crashes on the moon, and we see that the interaction between them, and it's very much a reflection of her past self, and Kara can kind of see that in it, and she's kind of trying to mentor this girl who comes in very aggressive, and there's clearly something about her. She has the ability to steal powers and things of that nature, and the writing is very good. I think Kara Zor-El is portrayed very well, and she's portrayed, as a version of herself that is clearly much older and is okay with having been in the shadow of Clark after all that time where she thought she was going to be mentoring him, and he mentored her. And she's giving all of her knowledge to this new Supergirl-esque character who has landed on the moon. And we see them kind of build a relationship, and you find out that there's people after this new Supergirl, maybe her same race, maybe not. And the comic wraps up with the people who are after her finding her on the moon, and wait till next week, bi-weekly, I believe, to come out. And I really liked it. I thought it was short, it was sweet, and they acted like the characters were supposed to. There was nothing out of character from anybody, and I'm excited to learn more about why they're on the moon, what they're doing on the moon, and Kara Zor-El's future plans. Next, we are going to talk about, Wonder Woman, written and drawn by Joelle Jones. This was probably my least favorite of the Future State titles to come out so far. I haven't read all of them yet, but she is from Brazil now. We have her running through the jungle to start, and she's running into a bunch of mythical beasts, and the dialogue is a little weird. It's clearly written to be like very hip and kind of like very 2020, the way a teenager would talk, and this new Wonder Woman is very clearly a teenager, or at least 18, 19 years old in that range. And it comes across kind of weird, and like talk like that doesn't always come across best written, better spoken, so it's not the best. But it is interesting. She meets this one girl who is an old friend of hers. I don't remember if they give the name out of what she is or not, but she needs to go to the underworld, Wonder Woman does, and this other girl is her ticket there. And so you see her go down through the underworld. This new Wonder Woman is clearly very brash, kind of like Diana used to be when she was younger. I found her a little annoying, which is unfortunate, but, character might grow on me. And but it was very fun to see her go down to the underworld, and she makes a commotion, and you see Cerberus, the 3-headed dog, sitting there, and you're like, oh crap, she can't wake that thing up, or it could be bad news. And then the comic ends with they're going through, it's kind of funny, a turnstile to get into the underworld, and she kind of loses her stuff there at the end, and the Cerberus wakes up, and then the comic ends, and it's a very exciting way to end it. I'm excited to see what ends up happening with that. Does she fight it? Does she end up writing it? Because the next covers would kind of, for the second issue, the leaks I saw were kind of implying that she tamed Cerberus in some way, which would be super dope. But as it stands right now, I don't think it was bad. It was just it was a little corny, and I don't think it was executed the best. But I think it was exactly what Joelle Jones wanted it to be, which is good for her because she was able to write and do the art on it. I'm pretty sure the inking and color was somewhat different, but I'm excited to see where it goes, but rocky start for that one. And now I'm going to talk about the Bat Family comics from Future State. I've read three of them. There's Dark Detective, uh, The Next Batman, and Robin Eternal. I'm going to start touching on Robin Eternal. It's Tim Drake, and he's in Gotham, which is run by the Magistrate now. GCPD is kind of there just to be there. And you have Peacekeepers, and they talk about those throughout those three comics. These three comics are very much intertwined. Robin Eternal, Tim Drake is fighting back against the Magistrate, finding out that there's stuff going on with the Lazarus pits and these giant mechs that the Magistrate have. They're using a Lazarus pit extract to make them immortal in some way, shape, or form. And you see Tim Drake go up through this spaceship where more of the Bat family joins him, which he is surprised to find that they're actually trying to help and not just hiding out anymore. And the comic starts to wrap up with them getting in a fight with one of the mechs who has been endowed with these powers. And you see, it looks like Tim Drake gets killed. He lands in these Lazarus pit extracts, and he looks mean as heck. And I'm super excited for the next issue of that. And then we have Dark Detective, which is our old friend Bruce Wayne. We find that he has been killed by Peacekeeper number one, who is super cool of a character. He gives me a very much Jason Todd vibe. I hope he's not Jason Todd. We don't really know who he is yet, but it sounds like he might be because it always ends up being Jason Todd with these kind of things. But we see Batman, Bruce Wayne getting back into the swing of things. He has to go to, I believe it's Professor Pig. I'm actually not sure, to get surgery after he gets shot by Peacekeeper number one, who tells the Gothamites that Batman is dead and Bruce Wayne had died a couple days before, according to him and this big billboard in Gotham City. But it's all a future Gotham, and it's very cool. It's very Cyberpunk 2077-ish, which is super cool to watch Batman and all his uh, friends interact with that kind of environment. And then we move on to the next Batman, which I'm not going to spoil who it is because I think it's fun to see who it is. And you see him going throughout his day as Batman, and it's very much like a day in the life of Batman for that one. And you see just how you always kind of see it like a person taking up the mantle, dealing with taking up that mantle. And we get a couple little short stories towards the end of each of these comics. You have Grifter, who's going on a little bit of adventure to try to break out of Gotham with Luke Fox, who is Lucius Fox's son, and he's also Batwing. And that's very fun to watch and see Grifter do his thing, which we don't get a lot of Grifter in comics, and I think he was portrayed very well. And we also get, at the end of that, we have a story with Signal and Katana, and it's very much a Katana-driven story. We see her fighting, and at the end of that, she deals with a couple of enemies, and we see Black Lightning, and he is pure lightning now. And it was so much fun to read, and just want to wrap it up by saying that all of the future state things I've read are very promising. I haven't loved all of them, as I said, but I think I'm super excited about the future of the Bat Family comics and just to see where all this goes. And I think the writing has been very good. So recommend going to check it out, find out for yourself. And yeah, DC Comics is kicking it off with this future state.